Hello everyone. I'm here after a long time. You know, there were a lot of disruptions in our life due to COVID pandemic. There was great learning loss. The schools were closed. The tuition coaching classes were shut. Meanwhile, we appeared for term 1 as well, which was in MCQ format. Just before that term 1 exam, when it was announced, soon after I had made a video wherein we talked about how to prepare for term 1 exam, MCQ format, what are the requirements to prepare for that, what are its demands. Now that is over. The result is awaited next week, sometime next week. Now, today we will talk about term 2 exam, which is in an entirely different format as compared to term 1. It is in subjective form. Another change is they have changed the blueprint of the questions. There has been some rejig in marks distribution as well. For example, in business studies we were having questions of 1, 3, 4 and 6 marks. Now we are having 2, 3 and 5 marks. The word limits have also been changed. Therefore, we must keep these factors into account. That is the most important. Next, how to prepare for this exam. The greatest lag is the absence of writing practice. Our experience is that by this time, students used to write more than 4 tests or a minimum of 4 tests including pre-boards. And by the time of pre-board, they used to come to grip with the gaps in their preparation. But the internal exam have been mostly conducted in online mode. And there is no need to tell about its validity, reliability and sanctity. All of you are well aware of that. So the writing practice is not there. I would suggest that if you go for a reading session of 1 hour, you should have a minimum of 1 hour writing practice as well. That will help you concretize the contents that you need to put in your answer. As I said earlier, the writing practice has been the greatest casualty. Another one is the absence of offline exam, where you come to know where do you stand. Now, why I talk so much about this writing practice? Writing practice actually makes you aware of the gaps, of the gaps which you will come to know as you revisit your answers. Another thing is, when you see the question and start writing, what happens is you leave out important contents and you put in not so important contents. And as I said earlier, there is contraction in word limits as well. So now you are required to write the contents in less words. So when you do the writing practice, what happens is you come to know the gaps in your preparation, the gaps in your answers. You will be able to pinpoint what important things you missed out, what not so important things you wrote in your answer. And in your next attempt, you will not leave out important things and you will not write unimportant things. Right? Then, subsequently, as you do the writing practice, you will be able to segregate the contents. What I would suggest is, if, for example, you have to write 3-4 important points, important paragraphs in your answer, you need to expand 3-4 points, which to your mind is germane to the answer. Now what happens is, these 3-4 points are there at the back of my mind, but when I start writing, I leave out 1 or 2. So it is better to write those 3-4 points in your rough sheet and then you cross check whether you have written those answers or not. The advantage is, in MCQ format, you either score 1 mark or you get a 0. But here in subjective format, as you are well aware that the marking scheme is a stepwise. If 2, 3, 4 things are required and you have written even 1 or 2, you get part of the question, part of the marks. Out of 4, you might score 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5 or 1.5 as per whatever you have written. So unlike MCQ format, since there is a step marking, you can score even part of it, if not the full marks, which will be awarded to you only when your answer is very comprehensive. Now, another important aspect is selection of quality sample sets. Selection of quality sample sets. That is very important, because what I find is there are few publishers or few sample sets available in the market which are up to mark. Most of them are a mixed lot, not very helpful one. Right? So while apart from whatever is there on CBSE website, the previous year questions that are authentic, but when you are selecting one particular book for sample set, you must be very watchful of the type of book that you are buying. Right? So these are the things which you must keep at the back of your mind. Another suggestion that I would give is to go for a combined study. Make a group, 2, 3, 4. Divide your chapters. For example, there are 3 students in a group, and Might be I am more interested in a particular chapter which appears easier to me. The other fellow has some different chapter. The third one has something different. So what we do is we divide the chapters among us, and I will prepare my chapter, the other two will prepare their chapters, and then they will come up with their work on that particular chapter, present it to the others. They will ask questions, the presenter will give them answer. What it will do is, it will lighten your burden and it will lessen your preparation time, and it will also add up to your confidence level. Right? It will also add up to your confidence level, and since you are presenting it, you will have to go for intensive study of the topics in the given chapter. Right? So, these are some of the suggestions that are there from my side to help you prepare better, be more productive, which will lighten your burden and which will help you imbibe the skills that are required to write any exam in subjective format. Thank you.